On today's Try to Finish Something, I want to tell you about an inspirational young man by the name of Kelechi. I've come to know him through Facebook, chatting back and forth through Messenger, and he says that he finds my YouTube channel motivational. And once I start telling you about who this kid is, I'm humbled and definitely not deserving of those comments. He is a kid who is a cosplayer, he makes props, he's a maker out of Nigeria. And when packages are delivered, the contents of the package aren't what's important to him, but the cardboard that it's delivered in is like gold to this kid. He makes some amazing props and cosplay all out of cardboard. And I can't imagine what he could do as an artist if given the proper tools. I'm going to put together a GoFundMe page. I'll have more details on the next video, and I would love to see if we as a maker community can come together to donate some money to him to see what this young artist can do, how he can shine if given the tools that I think we can help him get. And he's inspired me to do something a little outside of my comfort zone. I normally do Star Wars stuff, and I also watch that Disney Plus series Loki. What I love about that series, it has the grit and grime that I love about Star Wars. It's not the shiny, normal superhero type of aesthetic. And I've seen people make the Loki crowns, the male and the female crowns, and they all seem too shiny, at least for me. I got together with Clever 3D Studio, and they printed both of the Loki crowns for me. And I'm going to put my own spin on it. And I'm going to give it that grit and grime that I feel from that series. 2 Loki crowns printed by Clever 3D Studio. That's what I'm going to do on today's Try to Finish Something.
Okay, so here are the 2 Loki crowns as seen in the Disney Plus series, the male and the female Loki crowns. These are prints by Clever 3D Studio, and they are already amazingly smooth prints, but I have issues with... Can't we just leave it at, I have issues? I'm going to run the gamut of sandpapers and try and get this glassy smooth. And here's why this is a bit insane. I love the Star Wars grime and wear, and the Disney Plus Loki series has a bit of that same aesthetic. And I'm going to apply my style to these crowns, which means I'll be trying to get them silky smooth and then damaging them. I want the crowns to look more hand-forged and battle-worn. So that means a whole lot of sanding first, but it doesn't end there. After my neurotic sanding, I'm going to finish each with a different technique to see which is better or easier. Female crown, I will apply Bondo putty the way I always have, like a first grader with an art project, applying it and smoothing it with my fingers and scraping off a bit of the lumpiness to make the sanding easier later. I will let that dry, then sand and repeat. When sanding, you want to start seeing the original gray of the print first and a bit of the pink in the cracks and the seams. That's the Bondo doing its job. It's filling. I will also use a blade to make sure that all of the tiny details still shows. And once happy with the sanding, I'll shoot it with primer. I went with a black primer first. Now, most of this is smooth, but I still see some spots that need a little more help. That means I'll add another layer of Bondo. That horn, that's super smooth. I need the rest of it just like that. So my goal is no print lines and build up some tiny areas of Bondo to give it a little bit of texture but still be smooth. It's hard to explain, but I'll show you when I get there. Now, while that Bondo dries, I'll start sanding the male Loki crown, making my way through the different grits and using sanding sticks. Now back to sand that second coat of Bondo on the female, or Sylvie's version, and that one looks ready. Okay, the male crown has been sanded, and it's time for the technique that I've wanted to try since seeing it on VanOaksProps on YouTube. I'll put a link to his video in the description of this video. I've honestly never seen this done before. He took acetone, which I have in this cup, and mix the acetone with Bondo to make a Bondo Slurry. Now, instead of a finger painting project, I can use an acid brush and paint the Bondo on the crown, coating the whole surface. Now that that layer of Bondo is dry, back to sanding. You know, I really like this technique. VanOaksProps, props to you for that tip. Get it? Props? Never mind. Now here they are with a gray primer. They are both super smooth, and the slurry was way faster. Now, I'm going to sand those down with a 1200 grit. Now, I'm going to take my X-Acto blade and create some texture, scratches, and wear. When you have something really made of a hand-forged gold, it's a soft metal, and you get nicks and scratches and wear. I'm even looking at my wedding ring for detail on how something gold would wear. Now I'm going to sand down the scratches again to soften them up, and here's where I'm at. I textured a bit with a wire brush and some tiny clumps of Bondo and sanded it, and you saw me do the scratches. I had a bit of my daughter's Tester's brand gold model spray paint. There was just a tiny bit left in the can, enough for a super light first coat. Now I'm going to use this basic gold craft paint and I'm going to give it a few layers. Now this is way too shiny and clean for me. This is how I've seen others complete their crowns, but I want to make this my own. I'm going to mix a bit of black into this and start with shadows and weathering. I am randomly splotching on the dark gold and wiping it off with a paper towel. This will bring out my rough, scratched texture and still give me the true gold highlights. I will do this to both crowns and all over. Now, if you look at real aged gold, it's a warmer tone than this. It has hints of orange and brown, and I'm going to use an oil brown to bring out those warmer tones. When wiped off, it will give you some of the brown and the cracks, and it will give you the proper orange tones. And I will work that brown into the edges and wipe it off, rubbing the brown back to the gold, and it will give me that variation of color. For instance, on these V grooves in the crevices, then wipe it off towards the side. Keep applying this brown to the whole crown in very strategic places. This looks a tiny bit darker on camera than it really is. In real life, it's a little more subtle with the colors. All right, my flair and aesthetic on the Loki crowns printed by Clever 3D Studio is finished. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out Praise Kelechi on Facebook and on Instagram. More to come on how we can band together as a community to help out this amazing talent. I will leave you with some glamour shots, and I really hope you liked this Marvel build. And as always, if you didn't, just keep it to yourself. And we'll see you next time as we try to finish something.